My name is Susan Borowitz, and I'm a writer-producer. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. I remember when I was in second grade, the teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And every other girl in the class said they want to be an actress, and I thought that's really dumb. So I said, I want to be a writer and producer so that these people have something to say. And it stuck. I kept going in that direction. I went to Harvard, which was a great opportunity on an almost full scholarship. And while I was there, I was elected to the Harvard Lampoon. And that's really where my comedy chops were honed, because it was a very competitive environment, and you'd be sitting around and people would just say things and you'd have to respond, and it would have to be funny, and if it wasn't funny, it became abundantly apparent that it wasn't funny. So I actually learned more at the Lampoon than I did in my classes, certainly for my future work. There used to be a push to go into publishing, and then there was a push to go into Saturday Night Live, and by the time I was there, there was this push to go to Hollywood. And I ended up in Hollywood. You had to be funny coming from New Jersey. That's kind of the only way of dealing with it. So my first job was on Family Ties, and I was there for 4 years. And I learned everything about producing because my boss, Gary David Goldberg, really taught the writers how to produce. And that all came back to help me during Fresh Prince. So when I got the opportunity to start a production company with my ex, I felt completely qualified to go ahead and run a show. Even though Fresh Prince is this kind of goofy, crazy comedy, I went into it thinking, I need to justify being white and writing this show. I really need to be able to get into the mindset of what it's like to be a member of the Black community and try to work it from there. I just cannot just import my white experience and plop it on top of it. I really wanted to be responsible, as did Andy, but it really made me think that I'm not just writing funny jokes for Mallory and Alex. I have a responsibility here. So what I was feeling is that, well, first of all, when I decided that that was a responsibility, one of the things that I decided to do was really kind of dive deep and really think about what do we want this show to be all about. I happened on a New York Times series about being Black in America. So I just devoured that series. Just every time a new article came out, I read it as my education. And the one installment that really, really hit me was about how in some groups of the Black community, doing well and becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, becoming the Cosby Show family was considered a sellout. And I got very upset by this because I thought, well, how are they going to break out of economic disadvantage if they see economic stability and economic gain as selling out? It's sort of shooting yourself in the foot. And I thought, this is an interesting dichotomy here. The next thing was, we said we have to have Black writers, we have to have Black production people, we especially need to have a Black lighting designer, because there were people of very different complexions in the cast, from Karen Parsons to Janet Hubert. And we thought, we have to have somebody who understands Black skin tones to light the show. So we really, really made a point of seeing that our responsibility was not just to do this Black show, but also to hire black talent and really get their careers going, and to basically to put our money where our mouth was. So by the time we were on the set, what we were feeling was, we got to get the show going. And I do remember, though, a different kind of a feeling of just electricity. And that was when we did the pilot. And of course, Will had never really acted before, other than in his videos, that was a very cartoony, performance. So we really tried to write to his strengths. We tried to write dialogue that would come out of his mouth. So we really kind of studied who Will was. So that first season, Will was pretty much, we gave him the opportunity to develop as an actor by not giving him so many challenges right off the bat. Then we brought in an audience, and it lit on fire. Will in front of an audience just went into the stratosphere. He fed off the audience's love for him, and their laughter, and how much, and he won them over, and they were going crazy at this pilot. And I remember going home and I said to Andy, we may have a hit on our hands. The thing I've written that I am the proudest of everything, was an episode in the first season called Mistaken Identity, and that was when Will and Carlton were stopped by police when they were driving the law firm's partner's car to the desert. And of course it was funny and goofy and everything, but it made a point, and it was, I had never heard about that. I mean, we're sitting around shooting the breeze, and they talked about, DWBs, and we go, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, that's driving while black. What? So this was a major education for me, and it completely opened my eyes to what would now be called microaggressions as well as macroaggressions that completely escaped me. It made me a much more racially aware person, and that was a gift. That was a complete gift to me, because it's something that I still take very seriously. I try to bring other white people on board to recognize, no, you gotta listen. So that I do think that was the best thing to ever come out of it. It's really nice that I have a hit show in syndication, but the thing that I value the most was that awareness that I learned. Well, my big thing that I started doing is I've sort of turned into a photographer, and I've been doing a lot of narrative work, so it's a different way to tell stories. I tell them in my photographs, and I've gotten some success with that. Gotten into shows and won awards and things like that. But I am not saying goodbye to writing. I'm also thinking of writing. I have a couple of movie projects that I'm thinking of. One is a project that I came up with a friend. We're going to work on it about what happens to mean girls when they're over 40. A couple of TV show ideas. One that I thought was not pertinent prior to Trump's election, because I thought, oh, people aren't being discriminated against so much anymore. So, I was in that bubble. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's about a bunch of misfits and people who have a hard time getting hired in a white patriarchal world, kind of banding together. It's kind of would be a fun project to do, and would also say something, which I like that. I like it when it says something. I'm not good at just doing crazy comedy. It has to have a foundation. That's what I'm most comfortable in. If you don't have the stick-to-itiveness, you're not going to do well. Keep working, keep submitting, and develop armor, because someone could say no, lots of people can say no, all you need is that one person to say yes. And then you get you get your foot in the door. In terms of writing, find an agent who is not one of the top flight agents. I know somebody who ended up writing and directing movies for Sandra Bullock, whose first agent was a New York agent, who's called a soft agent. They're people who are not like, Endeavor or William Morris or CAA. In terms of production people, take whatever job you can that gives you that experience. It's the meeting the people that's going to help you. Don't be shy about telling them about what you want to do. Asking them for advice is better than asking them for a job. Send your stuff to as many people as you can who you think can help. It's not glamorous, it's exhausting, but it can be extremely rewarding.